Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, we are decommissioning this boiler room outhouse and we're going to relocate the hot water cylinder temporarily on top of this new extension base and swing some polypipe inside. Right, I'm pretty sure we win van wars today. As you can see, that's our two vehicles. I've got the new Transit, the Sport's gone, and this is where we are working. So, we have got a block and beam extension going up, and unfortunately, the existing plant room, boiler room is right in the way of where the new brickwork needs to go. So, we are decommissioning all this, and we need to make it safe because we're going to be reinstating it a little bit later on the job. So the main issue being, we've obviously got the gas meter in there which is going to be exposed to the elements, and also the existing pipework runs externally at the moment along here, so we need to cut all this back, bring it nice and back through nice and straight through the wall one stub so they can get their like timber plate along here, because there will be first floor joists here, and basically relocate the hot water cylinder temporarily on top of this block and beam, and then just swing some polypipe up through there so they can actually have hot water, because the customer is currently living inside. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a bodge job today, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do so the customer can still have water. So anyway, let's get this drain down and get this boiler off the wall. Okay, so we've got the cylinder out now and we're just trying to salvage some of the old components, as we're going to try and reuse as much as we possibly can. So to actually jig up the unvented cylinder, we obviously still need to put the pressure reducing valve on it. But what we have found is the expansion vessel, portable expansion vessel, which is on that flexible hose there, is actually knackered. So we're just letting it drain out there, weighs an absolute ton. So I'm expecting the diaphragm to be gone, but I will recharge it once it's drained and we'll just make sure. So the flue is out for the boiler. It's only a single skin, so we're definitely going to have to renew that. Obviously it's already been cut. Here is our polypipe that we're going to swing in on our horses, and this is where the cylinder is actually going to be located for now. So I'm well aware this is going to be really unconventional, but this extension is going to go up really quick, so it will only be temporary, so hopefully a week or two, being optimistic. So this is where we're going to locate it. We're just going to strip out the rest of the copper, bring those stubs through here, and then we can literally just swing in the plastic and wire up the immersion, and then they can have some hot water. So with the cylinder removed, this is what we're left with. Now we are trying to salvage quite a lot of the old central heating components so we can reinstate them. Now the sun's come out. Now there is always a risk when you are reinstalling a second-hand boiler. You need to make the client aware that, you know, it potentially can become faulty, so we will be as careful with it as we can. It is a Worcester, so the chances are it's probably already knackered. So but we will get that down as carefully as we can. So what's actually going to be happening in here is the block and beam flooring is going to continue at a higher level, so the boiler and everything and the cylinder will be reinstated in a similar position, but we will obviously repipe it up in the way that we do, make it nice and neat, all the components accessible. The gas meter, I imagine, is going to have to stay where it is. Obviously we've got the incoming gas main here, that can't really be changed unless the customer wants to pay a huge hefty sum. So I imagine this is still actually going to be a cupboard. So what we're going to do is just strip out all this copper, clear out all the rubbish, and then we can start working on that external section and get those stubs through. So underneath my house this morning I have a little storage space, like a mini cellar, and I had to dig deep to find the old cowboy fittings or the cowboy box. So this is the concoction that we've mastered so far. So here are our polypipes going up. We're still within regulations. Is the D2 terminating to ground? Pretty much, there it is there. So yeah, this is knackered. We've tried pumping it up, but we've just connected up for the meantime. Flexible hose down to that. So what we are doing is the old coal main, it was running up here along in polypipe. So what we've actually done is we've just teed in, or elbowed in, sorry, here. That's just feeding our unvented cylinder. And then these pipes here, balanced cold and hot. So what I've been doing, up where the pipes kind of pass through into the main building, I've just cut all those back. And what we was going to do was go inside and run new copper pipes out, but actually there's enough slack on there for us to actually get onto that. So we are just going to extend these out nice and straight. That will then pass through into the first floor joist space, and then just temporarily, obviously, we're going to join our poly pipes up so the customer can have hot and cold water. But I must admit, I think this is some of our finest work. You know, I've seen worse than new builds for sure. For those of you who are worried about the water tightness of the electrics, you can be rest assured that every precaution has been taken, and we have fully wrapped this with a tarpaulin. So just get on the horses, let's go. Right, moving swiftly on from that abomination, we are now decommissioning a bathroom to get it prepped for first fix. So let's get this drained down and stripped out. Okay, let me just walk you around what we're actually going to be doing today. So this bath is coming out, and we're going to be eventually having a freestanding bath going underneath this window here. The toilet is going to be relocated to this position, and we need to get pipes over to this wall for a freestanding basin. There isn't going to be a shower in here, although it is a lovely size. Where this cupboard's going, they're actually going to have like a plug and go sauna. So for that reason, we're not going to be having a shower. I believe the radiator's moving, changing for a towel rail. So what we're going to do is obviously strip this bath out, get this glass out the way, and then, although we're not responsible for getting rid of the tiles, we're going to remove some of the tiles here, cap the hot and cold if we can't cap them under the bath. And then today we really just need to figure out if we can get those hot and colds through this wall here and over to this location. So if there is any problems, we can let the client know. But we're quite lucky, this is a lovely size room for us to work in. Normally bathrooms are quite pokey, but this is a nice size, not too much going on, so should be quite simple. Right, so we need to get the cold water main turned off to this property, and I thought I'd just show you the two boiler setup they've got in here. So we've got two combi boilers. We've got a 28 one side and a 35 the other, and which is quite unusual considering this is a fairly new build property. So the actual kilowatts we got are huge. So here's the main stopcock here. It branches off in 15 mil, and then from this point in 15 mil actually feeds both boilers. And then we've got our cold coming off this isolation valve here, which must be hugely restricted by these small isolation valves. So it is quite an unusual setup. So I imagine one must do the top floor, one must do the first floor and ground floor potentially. So anyway, we get these turned off and get it drained down. Okay, so by way of denomination, we have worked out that this boiler is the one that's providing the hot water to the bathroom we're going to be working on. So we've also confirmed that the cold water pressure is absolutely shocking. So when we are finished, we will remove this isolation valve, as well as take a look at this pressure reducing valve, which appears to be faulty. So yeah, we'll get this all drained down, then we can start working on it, and hopefully the heating is off this side as well and not off the other boiler. Right, we are ripped and stripped. So we have taken the soil pipe that was running along this wall out, and we followed it all the way back to underneath the bath. So actually it's a little bit odd because I said earlier by the boiler is all in 15 mil, but we have got 22 mil stubs here. So at some point they've obviously changed to 22 mil. We believe these pipes are actually running this way under the floor, so we're hoping to just join onto them here and then just relocate the pipework where we need it. So the toilet is actually going here between the centre of these two studs, so it's nice and simple. The only slight issue we've got is we was planning on running our waste through this wall, but it's only 2 inch. But actually, if you can see down there, we're hoping there's a bit of pipe for us to put a strap boss on and get nice and low between these joists, and then we can then run it along to our new basin location over there, and also freestanding bath. So there is already boss there, but it looks like it might be a tad too high for us to join onto because it looks like the pipeway actually hits floor level. But once we've got this all cleared out, we'll take a look. So we have managed to get all the pipework into position now, and to be honest, we were quite lucky because the hot and cold actually ran along here anyway. So Bailey's just branched off here, pulled some bends up to where the new vanity unit's going to be going. So we don't actually have the sanitary ware on site at the moment. So because we had a bit of time this afternoon, we're just making a start. We're just branching off here for our freestanding tap for the bath. That'll be going in somewhere. And then regarding the waste, we have just cut a boss in below the existing one. Put a side strap boss on that. I normally silicone these now rather than solvent weld because I've had a few leaks with solvent weld. And yeah, just come through the joist and that will pick up the bathway. So toilet cold feeds in position. We're pretty much done for the day. Just going to get the floor back down and we'll come back when the sanitary ware's here and get it all first fixed. Okay, so moving to, I don't know why I clap my hand like that, it's like a weird tick that I have.